GM, guys, welcome back. Good to see everyone in here.
Thank you. You too. It's nice to see you too, Renverse. How you doing, Rainus?
Hey, what's up? I'm just recovering from sickness.
Oh yeah, no, I've been there, buddy. I know how you feel. I had like the worst. Um, it wasn't like a flu, but I was just sick over the Christmas break.
Yup, same.
How you feeling now?
Uh, I'm good. I don't have the temperature anymore, so I can do stuff finally. So still got my nose full, but it's good.
Yeah, at
Ready
this
to
point
punch the
in the year, when I get sick, I just expect it's going to stay that way until spring. Like I'm going to have like a stuffy nose and a cough until spring.
I hope not, but yeah,
With kids, you're just rolling from like one sick over to the next.
it's like hot potato.
Exactly. It like mutates. So like I catch something from my kid, and then it mutates in my body, and then they catch it back again, and it mutates in their body, and then I catch it again.
It's a really a horrible way to play catch with your kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello.
Hey Tom, we can hear you now.
Something about that iPad is not happy about trying to talk today, but we'll switch devices. Everything will be okay.
I feel like Discord like checks your user agent, and then randomly one user agent a day is just blocked from talking.
I always want to chalk it up to the headphones. I was just like, it's the headphones. They're driving me crazy. But maybe it's Discord. Maybe I should blame them.
Somewhere along the line, someone's to blame. All right. Well, you guys can see my screen, right? Maybe take a quick attendance here. Here we got Rainus, linked, Arcusty, and Winverse, and Tom Tramner. Winverse, are you able to take the recording for us? Thanks. All right, let's get started. Welcome to the first Bankless Card Weekly meet of 2024, which I think maybe the year of Bankless Card. We shall see. But I was joking with Coffee Crusher and DMs that hopefully we do so well this year that we replace one of the Chinese zodiac, and this will be the year of Bankless Card. We'll see. It's a stretch goal. We'll have to actually launch a card first, but yeah, we'll get there potentially. On the like metric side, well, most people were off last week, so still on the 79% ready to launch POC. That being said, it's really just one thing that is preventing us from doing a soft launch, and that is creating the cards. And I mentioned a little bit below. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but let's go through the lead metrics first. We have 1,358 emails. I'll just quickly peek at the last time we took meeting notes, and what do we got here? 1356. So we got +2. We have 21 of 30K in the multi-sig, 81 completion of Alpha app, and we have of the completion of the launch campaign. Well, I'm not quite sure. We'll have to ask Coffee Crusher about that. Team-wide announcements. Happy New Year to one and all. Really great to see all of you here. I think that it was really great to take the time off, and now I'm glad that we're back together. We're still blocked on Transcard card issuing, although yesterday we did manage to convince them that the problem is on their side. So before the break, they were basically saying you guys are sending the wrong information. But yesterday we did a screen share with Transcard, and we kind of proved to them with an experiment that the problem is on their side. So now they are trying to figure it out for us. I'm going to be poking them actually probably twice daily if I don't get an answer from them, because this is the one thing that's really stopping us from doing a soft launch, and a soft launch will allow us to test what we need to test. I think that that's really important. So still working on that. Retrospective is next week. So I'm going to post a doc later today so you can add your feedback this week. Nixie, feel free to come on up to the stage. This is an open chat, so feel free if you like. But in general, our retrospective is next week. It's been a couple months since we did a retrospective. Actually, I think it was in either August or September when we decided that we were going to go for a launch in the season. So it's a good time after the new year to reflect and think about how we're going to proceed in the future. So I will post that doc, but just take over the next week, think about pluses and deltas. Pluses, things that went well. Delta, things we can change. Yeah, just think about some of those things. And we will work on that next week. Hey, March, how you doing? Nice to see you.
Yeah, it goes both ways. Happy New Year. I'm good. Just getting my power and my strength together for the upcoming year, planning stuff out.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling you. That's exactly what I'm trying to do as well. So that's great to hear. All right. Well, I do see Nixie in the audience. If you feel like coming up, you can do a little intro for yourself. But if not, we can move over to our milestones. On the funding side, we have the funding we need to launch the POC. There's some outstanding things on the donation side. I've been kind of letting it drop as I've been working on the product, but we need to work on this hopefully this week. Need to send a patron email update. So I'm going to send an email to all of our patrons, basically telling them what the situation is. We need to update the website to remove investor and replace it with patron. So patron is the word I'm using. What do you guys think? Is this a decent word to use?
I'm just looking up the dictionary definition.
Yeah, let's take a look. Define patron. A person who gives financial or other support to a person, organization, or cause. A customer of a shop, restaurant, especially a regular one.
Sounds perfect to me.
All right. So that's what I'm saying instead. So I got this from the museum in Toronto, Royal Ontario Museum. They call their members patrons, right? And so I was just like, okay, yeah, that works. So that's where I got this from, patron. Anyways, that's the kind of language I'm thinking of using to in like avoid any kind of investment situation. So that's something to note. Need to figure out how to document what donation actually gets someone. SporkDAO actually has an amazing website on this. I think that, so I don't know if this is like legal or whatever. I'm not sure of the legality of this. But when you go into Claim Spork here, it talks about if SporkDAO has profits, members can vote to distribute the profits to Spork holders pro rata.
From this, this makes what I get from 3 to 4. But the card.
So that's kind of interesting. That's kind of what I wanted to. That's kind of language I was looking at using. We shall see, and we need to poke some new potential donators. We'll see. I have a few. I have a list that I haven't gotten through yet, but that's something else I need to do. On the grant side, next up is nouns and base, both on Flophouse, and then eventually, hopefully, to the actual nouns, to the nouns proposal. We shall see. Status of the outstanding grant applications. Well, OP should be receiving. We should be receiving funds from OP in the OP multisig in early January. That's what they said. We did make the cut for 17 votes for Taxman. Unsure of how much we're going to get, but it should be something like, I'm hoping that it's at least a couple $1,000. We'll see. On the app side, our POC is ready to launch. As stated above, we're blocked on Transcard. We did convince them of the faults on their end. They're going to speak to someone working on their systems, and I will keep pushing on this. Already sent them an email this morning, and I will call them if I need to. The first round of user tests revealed a bunch of things that we can improve in our onboarding. So I'm going to work on this as well. There's a lot of like little small things, stuff around explanations. For instance, here's an example. Every tester asked, "Do I need to give my social security number?" So I asked it. And yes, they do need to give their social security number, but since we can't stop them from having to give their social security number, we can add a better explanation of why we need that right there. Because if all three people ask that, then chances are other people are going to ask that too. These are the kinds of things I'm thinking about. We also have a rewarding claim flow, but we're blocked again on a Transcard issue. So this is something that we can start to spec, but we're not going to really be able to do it properly until we have Transcard unblocking us. That's it from the product side. Looking down at the card issuing side, we have signed with a card issuing provider. Well, we did sign with a card issuing provider, Now we're just looking at getting those cards out the door. The Dow card is ready to ship if we could actually create cards, so that's tied up to the stuff we said above. On the Nouns card side, I haven't actually got an update on this. They were supposed to, like the last update that we got was that we had to shrink the Nouns logo because the glasses were getting in the way of the card numbers. So they were just going to shrink it so that it was above the numbers, which was not great. I wish they had told us that before, but that should be sorted out this week, we hope. On the legal side, that's done. Dow partner side, that's done. On the launch campaign side, we did get some good news. We're going to have some free advertising at ETH Denver on one of those. I don't know if you've seen these where you are. It's like a 3-sided truck. I mean, it's a regular truck, but on 3 sides, there is like a digital billboard. So we can put pretty much any image that we want on there. We have like not a lot of free time, but we have some free time on there to put. So yeah, that's something to think about. I think ETH Denver, it would be good if we had a presence there, although I'm not going to be able to make it out there myself. But we can hopefully get some people from Bankless DAO to get out there and help us get the word out. Yeah, and then there's some more updates from Coffee Crusher, which I'll have to poke her about. On the related asset side, as I said above, our email list and website needs some work, especially for, well, I'll put a patron email list. Patron email list and website needs some work. Let's get into our task perspective now. Any questions on the milestones before we move forward? Okay. On the all team projects, on the role salaries for week 52, basically we were all, I mean, I guess it's like the last 2 weeks really. We'll ask about week 1 next week and week 2. But yeah, so that was week 52. I'm just gonna go ahead and mark everyone as good. Everyone deserves to have some time off, so I'm gonna put that in there and take it off of here. And now we'll go down. We talked about what is public and private info last year, I guess, but I needed to make some changes that I haven't put in here yet. So that's just something I will work on when I get a chance. On the Alpha app, well, I already gave an update on that. We're kind of blocked on Transcard, although we do have the ability to make some updates from the user testing, as we said. So there are some small things that we can do. And yes, we can be working on that as we go. On the user testing side, I did get 3 users to test the onboarding flow, and the next step is for me to fix some of those things. Had 3 users use it, could not get the card, but they did give me some feedback. Will process and improve the app. All right. Our POC launch campaign is ready. Let's ask Coffee Crusher. Coffee Crusher. Any updates on this?
I don't know.
All right. Nouns Prop House and a Thinker is working on this. We shall see. Friends and families round. We kind of discussed this in our milestones. We need to create a patron email list. We need to update some of our financials, and we need to get some more donors. But hopefully the OP round will help us get to where we need to be. Donor email list, well, let's just put this a little bit higher now. I think it's a bit important. External documentation website. This is something I was working on. I don't think I'm going to get a chance to work on it this week, so I'm going to move it down a little bit. Looking to mint a donor NFT for Adam L. This is one of our donors. Contributor NFTs. These are for all of our contributors. I'm not sure where we're at on this. I guess I will ask NF Thinker in a comment. The update cash flow for POC. This is something that I need to work on. Well, sooner rather than later, but it's not looking like I'm going to get to it this week. And then finally, a Making Bank appearance. This is going to be on January 8th. So we will be working on. Oh, not Making Bank. Sorry, that was. That's not. It will be the campaign. Crypto Sapiens appearance. This will be on Monday. All right, great. And in terms of other things that we could be working on, well, there's a lot that I need to clean up. And as part of the retrospective, I'll try to clean up this Asana board as well. But in general, is there anything else that people are working on that's not on this list? I know, Rainus, in March, you're probably working on things from the communication side that aren't here in the This Week section. Is there anything else that you want to add to this list?
Well, me and Andy are working on some fresh content for us.
Yeah.
That's not on that list that can be added.
Is it on the Communication Weekly?
It's under the post launch campaign funny generic videos. It's up. You went past it. Yep, active projects, third one. Yep.
Okay. All right. Do you have any updates on this?
No, I was sick. Andy was sick as well. We
Yeah,
haven't.
no worries. And I'm going to assign it to you then, Renus.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Funny generic videos. Okay, I'll put this in here. I'm going to add this Crypto Sapiens appearance to the Communication Weekly as well. Put it in the inbox. All right. Anything else anyone wants to mention that they were working on? Anyone looking for something to work on? Arcusti or Winverse?
Nope.
I'm still waiting for the messaging for the next email, so I'll probably just talk to Coffee Crusher about that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think in general, one of the things that I wanted to do that I didn't get a chance is talking about the progression that we're going to need to make with Bankless Card. I think that we really need to, I mean, this is just something for you, March and Rainus. I think we really need to beat on that community drum as much as we can, and also that kind of meta game that we're playing. We are trying to be a community who supports communities, and to do that, first we need to launch a card. Then when we launch a card, we need to push 1 million in spending through those cards, and then we will unlock revenue, which we can then award to communities. So it's kind of like a couple step process to get where we're needing to be. Each one is small, but it's something that needs to happen for us to go further and further. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yep. Perfectly. I think we content marketing for this to signal this message is the best option.
Yeah, I think it's not obvious to people outside of Bankless Card how we're doing it, what we're doing, and I think that we need a little bit more support on that front. Documentation, videos, whatever it is, but that we're in this kind of awkward state between where we want to be and where we are right now. And so just like creating some assets to help us communicate that with others would be really helpful. Anyways, we'll see about that, but yeah.
Sounds
what?
similar to like a roadmap, is what you're thinking about, Link. Something that's going to sort of chart the course towards where we're headed and give some people some explanation about the things that we're working on and towards.
Yeah, some people might call it a roadmap. I wouldn't necessarily call that. I mean, I wouldn't call it a roadmap personally. But you're right. Yeah, some people would call that a roadmap. The reason I wouldn't call it a roadmap is because roadmap is like a company roadmap, I guess you could say, a product roadmap. I guess it's a roadmap for the company.
What would best communicate this in my mind the best clearest way? A Bankless Card podcast.
Like where we are talking about our progress every week.
Not well, progress too. There are episodes where we talk about progress, but we could still talk about communities. We could have people on from like ApeDAO or other communities and highlight their problems and that, like the message that you said, that we are a community that wants to support communities. A podcast would probably be the one of the best ways to clearly highlight what communities are dealing with and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have like the ability to like execute on a podcast though?
I think it's only a time question.
Okay.
Do we have the time to commit to that? Because technically we can do it, no problem.
Okay. From a technical perspective, we could do it. Okay.
I know when we think podcast, we always think like open-ended, long-running, in perpetuity type of show. But I think that probably, Rainus, it'd be a great idea to have even something like a limited series podcast that specifically explores, features of Bankless Card and things that we're looking to be building towards, right?
Yep.
Yep,
There's
that's
a
about
whole
it.
it's a whole initiative, whole another initiative and a whole another communication channel that to open. I think it's crucial when we launch. Before we launch, I don't know if we need it currently, but after we launch, it will be one of the best ways uh to truly signal what we're trying to do.
Cool. I do think that's an interesting thing to have communities, talk about communities, that kind of thing. I don't think that there is necessarily a Web3 podcast that is dealing with community. So, yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. All right. Well, I'll leave it to you guys if you guys want to push it forward. I know that you have some fresh content ideas coming, so we shall see. But all of this chat, I didn't even get into the what did we ship last week. Okay, well, I didn't prepare anything, but yeah, let's write down. I know that it was a gap week as well, so don't get too crazy. But Lynx did 3 user tests. Lynx and Tom convinced. Let's say last 2 weeks, convinced Transcard that their system has a bug. Anything else that we shipped last week? Last 2 weeks? Put at the top. The entire team got some rest. Count it. Anything else that anyone wants to call out? All right, we'll leave it there for now then. But yeah, it reminded me of our discussion items. So now that we're coming up to the new year, just bringing us back to the reason why we're here. So our purpose is to bridge the UX gulf between Web3 and the real world. This was something that early on we kind of felt was a big problem. That was the big problem from mass adoption. And it comes from the purpose of Bankless DAO, which is to onboard people to crypto. I think that, or onboard people really to Bankless tools. So that's our way of onboarding people, was to bridge the UX gap. And, we, at some point, someone had created some mission, vision, and values. I don't really buy into mission and vision myself. I really think like purpose is something that is important to define. I believe that vision is important to talk about, but I think that kind of belongs with the team. Like our vision is a collective vision that is stored in our minds and hearts more so than anything that we can just kind of write down. And then finally, our values, I think, are important as well, but our values I put into this article for the most part, how we work. So I wanted to go through this, how we work, because I think it's really important for us to think about as we're getting into the new year. These, again, are super outdated as well, but I think it's something to note. We are sustainable. I think that was one of the big things that we wanted to start with at Bankless Card. The goal is to enjoy yourself while doing our best work. If we aren't enjoying ourselves or we aren't doing our best works, there's a problem, and that's something that we need to think about. It's especially important in a DAO. I think that the whole point of a DAO versus a traditional organization is that it could potentially change the work culture so that everyone's able to find their place. I really believe that for every single person, there is a place where you are valuable, you're doing valuable work, you're doing work that you enjoy, you're working with people that you enjoy, and you're getting paid to do that work. I really believe that exists for everyone in this modern world, and DAOs are kind of that promise, right? And so for me, it's a red flag if you're not enjoying yourself or you're not doing your best work. Just say something to me. Let's figure it out, because I think that's really, really important in the DAO space, and there's even a link to a Mirror article where you can read a little bit more about working sustainably. Another one is that we are iterative and relentless, aka agile. This is something that we've said over and over and over again. We don't rush. We simply move forward every week. This is one of our mantras that I kind of say quite often to us. We did kind of forget about that over the last season because we were trying to make a Christmas launch. This was a conscious decision that we made to be in a rush for a little while, but it is a danger that if once you get into a rush, to never stop being in a rush, and I think that would be a problem. So just as a reminder, we don't rush. We simply move forward every week. We'll eventually get where we need to be. The more resources we have, the faster we can move forward. But slow progress towards our goal is still progress. And then finally, we are asynchronous. This one's a work in progress, but ultimately, I have 3 rules of async work: centralized knowledge, decentralized decisions, and keep a tight feedback loop. I even have an article about this. Oh yeah, how to use Asana to work asynchronously. So the idea behind this is centralized knowledge. At any given moment, let's say Coffee Crusher, she's not able to make it to this meeting because she has some power issues at her house in the mornings. Well, we are centralizing our knowledge because Winverse is taking a video of this meeting and he's going to upload it to YouTube later. So that, in a way, it takes when Coffee Crusher is ready to do her work, she's able to open up YouTube, review the video of our meeting, and have the latest information that she needs to get her job done. So I think that that's one example of it. Same with when me and Tom are coding the app. We use GitHub to centralize our work. When we push something to GitHub, I can be sure that Tom will use it. And the first thing Tom probably does when he starts coding is he gets the newest code from GitHub and starts working on that. That's another example of how we centralize knowledge. We centralize our tasks on Asana. We centralize our documents on Google Drive, and we centralize kind of our wiki on Notion. So these are all like kind of how we centralize knowledge, and we do that. We don't do it just for fun. We do it so that anyone can make a decision that they need in the moment. You have all the information you need to make a decision. If Rainus is deciding whether or not to push publish on a tweet, well, he has the brand guidelines that he can look at. He has the passwords that he needs to get on Twitter in the Bitwarden. He has all of the things that he needs to make the decision to push publish, and that's great. And you know what? It's okay if we make mistakes on that too. Let's say, for instance, Rainus made a mistake on pushing publish and it wasn't quite ready. Well, that's why we keep a tight feedback loop. We have a tight feedback loop so that we can give people feedback and improve as a team over time. So those are the 3 rules of asynchronous work, which kind of fit into our values. Any comments, questions on those values? No, nothing from anyone?
Values are real valuable.
Yeah. Very true. So I mentioned this before. We're not in a rush. We simply move forward a little bit every week. We temporarily put this to the side to try to make a Christmas launch, but there's nothing stopping us from bringing this back right now. Ultimately, we want to get to a place where we can get paid to work on this, and the hope was through the proof of concept, we could get all of the people that we needed to start using the card, so that we could start getting some revenue out of this. So if we do that, like every other centralized startup, we're going to end up like every other centralized startup. So like what I mean by that is most startups, what they would do is they would try to get fundraising before they try to they would try to get fundraising as soon as they could. They would try to get it from as many people as they could, as quickly as they could, and try to do everything fast. And what that leads to essentially is burnout for a lot of people, but it also leads to a not very resilient organization. Of all the startups that are launched, I think less than 2% of them are alive after 5 years. It's something to think about, and it's probably only the ones that have legal entities. If you think about even more, the ones that don't have legal entities is probably less than 1% who actually make it to 5 years. So I think, and this is not just any startup, this is all businesses. In the startup space, it's probably even fewer. So I think it's really important. We don't want to be like every startup. There are certain things that we like, that we do want to be. We want to have a functioning product. We want to have a functioning team, but we don't want to be in the kind of venture capital rat race that a lot of startups find themselves in. We don't want to be in a situation where we feel like we have to succeed, otherwise our families are going to starve. We don't want to put ourselves in that situation, which means that we do have to work a little bit slower. But if we work a little bit slower, the groundwork that we're going to put in now is going to enable us to be part of a truly resilient organization later. That is the goal. That's what we're trying to do. We're not just trying to launch a card program. We're trying to launch a card program that is part of this kind of Web3 space, decentralized, empowering individuals, and bringing the best of self-sovereignty to people. Anyways, I've said a lot, but does that make sense to people?
It does make sense, and this has gotten us this far, so we're moving.
It does make sense to me as well. I like the idea of being continuously productive rather than trying to, rush anything.
Any other thoughts?
Good call,
All right. Well, is there anything else anyone wants to talk about today? I mean, we only took half the time. We don't have a lot of people here today, which is kind of expected. It's still part of the holiday time. But any other things that you guys want to talk about while we're all here together? No? Okay. Well, let's take our half hours back then. Oh, sorry, Tom. Do you have something to say?
Oh, I was actually just going to chat to you about our meet tomorrow, and I was wondering if we could bump it to a slightly earlier time. I've got an afternoon engagement.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I'm not working in the afternoons this week because my kids are off work, so I'm switching off with my wife. So yeah, that would be better for me as well.
I'm with you, so we can make it early. Let's chat about a time that works.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, in the meantime, I'll just say thanks to everyone who's here. We made a ton of progress in 2023. 2023 was our first full year in operation, and I think that is the progress that we made was really interesting. And we'll talk about it at the retrospective, but we started by trying to figure out if we could get fundraising for this project in the bear market. So we kind of got a lot of information by talking to VCs, angels, syndicates, all these other kinds of things as well. And that was really important. And we went from there to a place where we're actually very close to launching a proof of concept. And I think that is, to do that, we needed to have legal entities, and we needed to have fundraising, and we needed to have product work, and we needed to do all of this stuff. And I think that is really important. It's a massive amount of progress for the amount of resources that we have. So I just wanted to thank everyone for making this possible. I think that 2024 could be the year where we get a card out in the hands of people, and hopefully we start really empowering communities. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it, and I'm super excited to be on this ride with you.
Thanks, everybody. Let's keep working and remove those blockers.
Super excited building here as well.
All the best. See you later.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Links. Thanks, everyone.
Bye for now, everybody. Happy New Year.
See ya.